from ABC News, U.S. Surgeon General Murthy declares gun violence public health crisis in America. So quite clearly, everything can be called a public health crisis, and that is a great way for them to gain more power and tell you that if you don't do what we say, you're going to die. It's absolutely insane. Murthy also called for an evidence-based approach to public health change. I don't even know what that's supposed to mean. But also, I'm noticing here, Biden pardons veterans convicted under Article 125. And I think that's the whole thing about, like, there's some gay guys from the 70s or 80s or whatever, and they were convicted, but they're going to be pardoned now, and that's going to keep us safe. Meanwhile, there's at least 50 ISIS migrants at the border, but that's a completely different story. My name's Eric. This channel is called Report and Opine. Please like, comment, share, subscribe, hit the notification bell. I'm absolutely begging you.
I'm begging you, please. Come on, please.
It would help me a lot, and it will cost you nothing. But if you wanted to help me even more and spend a little bit of money, you would buy my book, New York City 2020, Gotham Unglued, on Amazon.com. That link will be in the description.
The Surgeon General is declaring gun violence a public health crisis in the U.S. Firearm violence is the leading cause of death among children and adolescents. Now, Dr. Vivek.
Well, okay. I don't know. Maybe they'll get to it, but I feel like they quite literally want to break everything down by race. Are you going to, are you going to tell us about that? You're going to tell us what's actually happening and where most of the gun violence deaths are occurring? Are you going to mention that?
Vivek Murthy is calling to strengthen gun regulations and penalize people who fail to safely.
Okay, so a leftist surgeon general is doubling down on more gun grabbing. Got it. Predictable.
Store their weapons. Chief Justice correspondent Pierre Thomas has more. Hi, Pierre.
Diane, good morning. The Surgeon General has decided for the first time that the nation's level of gun violence has reached such pervasive levels that it has to be addressed, that the time has come to call it a public health crisis. Much of Vivek Murthy's concern appears rooted in
a public health crisis. How many public health crises were there before Rona? Right? That was such a stepping stool. Oh, the kids are learning remotely because we had to fill the high school with illegals. Oh, learning remotely didn't occur until Rona. So every single thing they do, they can just sort of trace it back. Now, they're not going to tell you that they got the idea directly from Rona, but they saw the control they had, and they saw what they were able to get away with. So why not just try to do it again?
Disturbing new trends, including the fact that gun violence has recently emerged as the leading cause of death for children and teens in this country. The Surgeon General provides a series of staggering statistics to make his case. For example, the nation's rate of gun violence for young people is at least 5 times higher than any other major wealthy country. He believes
young people? Is that it? Just young people? What, like younger than 30? Younger than 25? Younger than 40? Just young people.
That gun violence is traumatizing not only the bodies but the minds of young people, families, and entire communities. His office says that nearly 6 out of every 10 adults in this country worries on some level that one of their loved ones will become a victim of gun violence. His announcement today emphasizes the need for more funding to provide more access to mental health support for gun violence victims. Diane.
Mental health, that's another thing. They love to throw that in there, mental health, because it's just a blanket term. It can mean quite literally anything. But if you're a man who wants to pretend you're a lady, that's not a mental health issue at all.
Pierre Thomas, thank you. And ABC News medical contributor Dr. Alok Patel is joining me now for more on this. Dr. Patel, what does the Surgeon General's announcement show about how gun violence affects young people in the U.S.?
And the biggest thing this report really showed was just flat out staggering numbers. And, we go back to 2015. Compared to other high income countries, if you're looking at deaths by firearm in children, 9 out of 10 of them occurred in the United States. And then fast forward a few years to 2020, gun violence surpassed car accidents as a leading cause of death among young people. This is
where? Tell us where. Where is that centralized? What's actually happening, right? It was the young people and the gun deaths, but is that where the details stop?
This is staggering. 2023, we had over 40,000 deaths by firearms, and we aren't just talking about deaths themselves because we know that firearm injuries are also very widespread. This report also highlights the fact that while mass shootings are this harrowing headline we see all too often, about 600 a year, they only make up about 1% of firearm deaths when you add in.
Yes, and the rest are just weekdays in Chicago.
accidents, homicides, legal intervention, suicides, and accidents. So this report really lays out the entire landscape of what firearm violence really means in America and how it affects almost all of us.
And you say people sometimes forget that it's not just gun deaths that have an impact, but also gun-related injuries. What are you seeing on that front?
Well, gun-related injuries, it really is pervasive. Reports actually show that over 50% of Americans are themselves have been impacted by a firearm injury or have had a family member or a friend who have. And we know that firearm injuries can have this devastating toll on victims, communities, families, people afraid to go.
Oh, okay. This is really quite interesting. So these firearm injuries and situations, they can really take a toll on people. Keep that in mind.
Out to go to certain neighborhoods, the actual injuries themselves can have this huge physical or mental health toll. Obviously, firearm injuries can leave people in chronic pain with disabilities, but also can increase the risk of anxiety, depression, PTSD. This all greatly impacts everyone's
anxiety, depression, PTSD, all on top of the deaths that could occur from the big, mean, scary firearms that are apparently just jumping off bookshelves and out of safes and off the top of the... and, they always want to talk about how you're not storing it safely. Fine. But it's still not going to... Okay. I think everybody understands what's happening, but he's talking about all the side effects that could occur from not just gun deaths, but the gun-related incidents. And that could just wear on you.
Way of life, especially for young people.
Now, Murthy...
Yeah. The young people.
Now says that it's time for the U.S. to take this issue out of the realm of politics and put it in the realm of public health. What does that look like? Why is this...
Yeah, well, that's obviously not true because, I don't know, it's probably been happening for a long time, but very clearly in the last, 4 years, the realm of public health has been completely turned political.
Being told to us by a doctor.
It's commonly being said, this is a public health approach. We need to adopt this from a public health standpoint. What this really comes down to, if you look at core definitions of a public health approach, the first thing we have to do is really lay out the problem. What do the numbers really show? Then, what are the...
Yeah, but you can't be trusted. We don't believe you. You need more people.
We don't believe you. You need more people.
Proven risk and protective factors. Next, how do we get widespread adoption? And last, how do we evaluate to make sure that we've actually made change? And
how do we coerce people into doing exactly what we say?
A lot of this starts with getting research funding to making sure we can really look at...
Oh, no way. No way. You need more money. Oh, that is groundbreaking stuff. We need more money to help convince people and brainwash people that our way of thinking is correct, and we're just going to get rid of all the guns. That's basically what he's saying.
All these factors are the problem is and how do we address it? And we've seen this approach work for things such as tobacco. And if we look at motor vehicles, I think looking at the auto industry is an important example because to reduce automobile deaths, you're looking at vehicle safety restrictions, you're looking at research, you're looking at road speed limits, all of this, these behavioral steps to make sure that we're saving lives. This is exactly what we need to do when it comes to fire.
We're going to save lives. So, add it to the laundry list of other things. Now, of course, this makes a little bit more sense because you're actually talking about guns. But, rest assured that if you do not obey what they tell you to do, something or someone is going to die, and it's going to be all your fault.
Firearm violence. An all hands on deck, multi-angle approach that is above politics and single solutions, because it clearly requires more than that.
It's obviously not above politics. This is absolutely insane. They want to pretend like it's not political. Oh, this Fauci says, oh, well, I don't know why they made it political. Well, you guys made it political. And keeping that in mind, this also from ABC News, infant mortality increases over 12% in Texas after near total abortion ban enacted in 2021 study. The Texas Heartbeat Act was implemented in September 2021. So are you trying to get people to believe that if it was legal to kill more babies, then more babies would be alive? Or maybe they should just let you do it? I'm really unsure what this article is trying to get across, especially keeping in mind that there's a gun violence is a public health public health emergency, a crisis. It's the young people. But we're not going to go any further than that. So after a near total abortion ban, there was, because, I mean, they shouldn't be infants. We should have sucked them out well before that. Infant mortality increased by 12.9% from 2021 to 2022 in Texas after Texas' near total ban on abortion was enacted, according to a new study published today in JAMA Pediatrics. Never heard of them, but don't trust them. A total of 2,243 Texas infants or children under 1 year old died in 2022 compared to 1,985 Texas infant deaths in 2021. This study basically confirms what we've suspected for a long time, that if you don't let us kill your babies, then they're going to die later. Is that it? Dr. Richard Ivy, a practicing OBGYN in Houston. Okay, yeah, we've suspected that. Oh, yeah, I knew this all along. Sure, bro. We knew that infant mortality would go up, particularly with congenital anomalies. After the passage of the ban, he said, the Texas Heartbeat Act, Texas's near total abortion ban was implemented. Yeah, we read that. The infant mortality rate or deaths per 1,000 live births increased by 8.3%. Okay, so while deaths from birth defects decreased by 2.9%, in all other states, researchers found a 22.9% increase in deaths from birth defects in Texas, according to the CDC, who obviously cannot be trusted. Birth defects are one of the leading causes of infant deaths. I mean, are you guys gonna explain why it is better to let a doctor?
I would perform any operation for $129.95. Come in for brain surgery and receive a free Chinese finger trap. Okay, Fred. You tried the best, now try the rest. Call 1-600-DOCTORB. The B is for bargain.
Kill the baby? I mean, this is absolutely insane. So on one hand, it's life and death. The gun incident could cause so much pain, mental anguish, right? But abortion is probably pretty healthy, right? So the mother will have peace of mind knowing she eliminated her baby, and the child will, he'll be one with the Lord. This is really an atypical trend, specifically in Texas, said Dr. Suzanne Bell, an assistant professor at Johns Hopkins Bloomberg School of Public Health and co-lead on the study. About the increase in birth defects, she clarified that all other states that Texas was compared to also experienced COVID and COVID. Oh, my word. Look, this is all gobbledygook. I'm genuinely trying to understand how eliminating abortion caused infant mortality to go up. And maybe somebody could let me know in the comments. I mean, this is complete garbage science, but I just want to make certain that I'm understanding they are trying to sell you the idea that it is safer to let a mother kill her baby before the baby is born than have a baby and that person would die as an infant. Okay, whatever. We're just skipping ahead a tiny bit. Provisional data from the CDC showed infant mortality continued to increase in 2023. Provisional data can be adjusted up or down after the final numbers are analyzed by the CDC. Well, okay, whatever, but the CDC clearly cannot be trusted as far as they can be thrown. Right? The CDC, all the mental health and gun violence and all this stuff, it's all complete nonsense. You guys live in a totally false reality where you're trying to eliminate babies and ban guns. That's all I can tell here. Studying the health consequences of restrictive abortion bans is the first step for people to understand the gravity of the situation. Women don't talk about their miscarriages. Women don't talk about chromosome abnormalities in their children. Women don't talk about birth defects. So the general public often doesn't understand the consequences of okay. Yeah, they don't understand the consequences of well, they do. People love this stuff. It's the one thing that turns the crazy hard lefties absolutely demonically rabid, right? There's no conversation to be had as soon as somebody says, maybe you shouldn't do that. I mean, This is absolutely insane. And I believe this was on the same day as the gun safety article. So June 24th, 2024, and then June 25th, 2024. So one day apart, they want you to believe that eliminating abortion caused more deaths among infants. At the same time, gun violence, of course, there's no such thing as gun violence. It's just actual violence, and it's operated by people. But that is an emergency that we really need to take care of. So kill the baby, ban the guns, and anybody who doesn't obey is probably going to die.